News 2 starter, too.
We now break away from regular network programming to bring you NBC Sports' fifth and final game coverage of the National League Championship. Olympic Stadium, Montreal, Canada, hit with a day-long rain yesterday that postponed the drama of the fifth and deciding game of the National League Championship. Fans, cameramen, and players patiently waited through a 3.5-hour delay before the game was called. The longest Major League regular season ever, with help from above, will be decided today. Ray Burris, a 9-7 record during the regular year, will start the most important game of his life, pitching for the pennant against a man and a team he beat in Game 2, the Dodgers' Fernando Valenzuela, whose screwball baffled opposing hitters all season long. The 20-year-old Valenzuela asked to climax a brilliant year by winning the National League Championship. The winner sails to New York for a World Series date with the Yankees. NBC Sports presents the National League Championship Series. Today from Olympic Stadium, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Montreal Expos. The National League Championship Series is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer, who invite you to test drive the 1982 Ford cars and trucks. By the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. By GE. At GE, we bring good things to life. And by Hertz, the car rental company that's #1 for everyone. Olympic Stadium, Montreal, the scene for the final game of the 1981 National League season. The Dodgers and the Expos fighting for a chance to go to the World Series. It's gray and cold and drizzly in Montreal. Temperature around 45 degrees. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg along with Tom Seaver. It's been our pleasure to call all of the National League playoff series, and we hope you've enjoyed them on NBC, and hopefully we'll get in the fifth and decider today. Now, the 24 hours after the rain delay yesterday, let's go to the pitching, and how does it affect, and who does it affect most?
Obviously, the two pitchers get an extra day's rest, which they both can use. They'll both be pitching on the fifth day now, but I think if it affects one pitcher more than the other, it's going to affect, as a benefit, to Fernando Valenzuela. That may be negated, though, Dick, by the fact that this is going to be the coldest day, temperature-wise, that we will have had in this League Championship Series.
Of course, we're interrupting some of the soap opera schedule, usually seen on Mondays on NBC, Days of Our Lives. Well, you talk about the days of our lives. Ray Burris, that man, Fernando Valenzuela, the most important games of their careers, one a rookie and Burris a seasoned veteran. They go at it today, pitching for the pennant. And we'll have the starting lineups from Montreal right after we pause for this word.
Rainmaker to ground.
Hey, Rainmaker. One more, how to do it?
Raj picking us up a radio. Tell that fire not to go anywhere.
Bullseye! You got it!
Does that mean it's Miller time?
Roger.
Miller time.
Well, it's time to relax.
Time for the best tasting beer you can find.
The beer stands clear.
Miller High Life.
Yeah, you got the time. Miller's got the beer.
Ford and Lincoln Mercury introduce a better way to beat the high cost of financing. It's called upfront money, and it lets you save now, not later. Right now, you can get from $400 to $500 cash on a new Escort or Lynx, $600 on Mustang or Capri, $700 on EXP or LN7. Apply it to your down payment or get a check direct from Ford or Lincoln Mercury. Upfront money, because the less you pay for a car, the less you have to finance.
There's Dan and Ellen Fields. He's editor of our local newspaper. He looks worried about his problem dandruff. I wish he'd ask me.
Mr. Owens, what shampoo should Dan use for his problem dandruff?
Ellen, how about Tegrin?
It works on itching and flaking?
In a national survey, 3 out of 4 dermatologists judge Tegrin's medication effective in fighting even problem dandruff.
Let's try it out.
Oh, how's Dan's problem dandruff?
Tegrin's terrific news, Mr. Owens.
Prove it to yourself. Tegrin works.
Here's your chance to get the official 1981 World Series program, a collector's item commemorating the 78th Fall Classic. Send check or money order for $4 to World Series program, Post Office Box 250, Hicksville, New York 11802. Please make checks payable to World Series program. New York residents must add appropriate sales tax. That's World Series program, Box 250, Hicksville, New York. Allow 8 weeks for delivery. The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Ready for Game 5, the decider for the 1981 pennant. Rain delay yesterday, and each player spent the time in his own special way, cards or reading or music. For Jay Johnstone of the Dodgers, he used that time for fun and impersonation.
Leading off for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Playing second base, one of my favorite base stealers, Davy Lopes, little short guy with a mustache. Batting second, playing shortstop, we call him Lloyd, Herculoid, Billy Russell. Batting third, playing left field, Dr. Skull, man of my heart, gives me heartburn when he don't hit, keeps those pizzas coming, Dusty Baker. Hitting fourth, Mr. All-America, my favorite person, the boy next door. The girl you want your daughter to marry. What's his? Garvey. Steve Garvey. Hitting fifth, that little short penguin, the guy that runs with the funny run, Ron Say. Batting sixth, playing in right field, Mojo. One of my counterparts, Rick Monday. Batting seventh, a hammer on our ball club, Pedro Guerrero. Hits the ball hard all over. Batting eighth, the boy with the cutest nose. A man after my own heart. His name ends in a vowel like mine. You know, the one with the crooked nose, Mike Scioscia. And batting ninth, the guy that we tried to get a Pillsbury Doughboy commercial for, but he couldn't laugh in English, Fernando Valenzuela, our man. And there, of course, managed by myself, Tom Lasorda. Thank you, and all sports fans of America. Enjoy the game when it starts.
Right down to the waddle. Jay Johnstone with the starting lineup for the Dodgers. Montreal very seriously taking their defensive positions. Ray Burris on the mound. Gary Carter behind the plate. The infield of Larry Parrish at third. Chris Spire, the shortstop. Rodney Scott at second, and Warren Cromartie at first base. Tim Raines in left. Andre Dawson, the center fielder, and Jerry White in right. That is not snow falling at Olympic Stadium, but the fans recognizing this is it for the pennant. Of course, they all hope they'll be entertaining the Yankees for World Series Day, dropping leaflets and paper, celebrating the mood of the day. And here's the starter, Ray Burris. He beat Valenzuela 3-0 in Game 2. He said then the biggest win of his life, and now he tries to repeat it today, Tom Seaver.
Ray Burris, 6'5", 195, 200 pounds, Dick. It's just a super ball game out in Los Angeles. His numbers this year, probably the best earned run average. He's had the best earned run average he has ever had in the big leagues. There's 9-7. Lifetime, he's 72 and 83. There's his manager, Jim Fanning. The game that they've been looking for all day, and he's looking for the same kind of game out of Ray Burris that he got out in Los Angeles. He changed speeds very well, set up his pitches very well. He pitched a pitcher's game out in Los Angeles. He was just absolutely super.
Now, this is the game where you want a man to take the ball. I know this would be the kind of game you'd like to pitch, and you did work the final game of the playoff series against the Reds in '73. I guess you can empathize better than any of us how he must feel out there about to start the first pitch. You don't stay nervous long, do you?
You take that nervousness up to game time. We talked about it last night during the rain delay, and one thing that happens, you're just glad you begin to start the physical activity, because that burns off that excess energy that builds up prior to a game.
Ready to go for the National League pennant. The Dodgers and the Expos. Davy Lopes leads it off. Ball one. And as we start play, high overhead, Olympic burn its way through the overcast. Temperature in the mid-40s. Lopes 4 for 14 in the series. Ball 2. Harry Wendelstedt behind the plate. Joe West at first. Paul Breyer at second. Harry Gregg at third. Paul Runge on the left field line. And Dutch Renner down the right side. As it was yesterday when they expected over 40,000. Although many seats have been sold, this is a work day. Many folks who had traveled hundreds of miles to be here yesterday had to return home. So we would say in attendance around 25,000. 2 balls and a strike. Every pitch meaning so much. On the infield, no. It's Carter behind the plate. 1 away.
Now the playing field, raining all night last night, up and past into game time, and today, early this morning, raining, causing the delay. The infield, the artificial surface will be very, very quick. It'll be very quick in the outfield. That ball that hits that artificial surface in the gap definitely will go all the way through to the wall. I think the advantage between the two teams, if you look at both of them, the outfield speed that the Expos have is much better than the Dodger outfield speed. And any ball in the gap definitely is going to be an extra base hit. The Expos are going to have the club that will have the better chance of cutting the ball off in the alley because of that defensive outfield speed.
Russell takes 1-1. Burris allowed only 5 singles in beating the Dodgers 3-0 last Wednesday night at Dodger Stadium. 2-1 the count. 3 for 10 officially in the series. Burris changing speeds, and that was a key to his success against the Dodgers in the last appearance.
He was so successful against LA out in Los Angeles. Off speed, and he kept his curveball right down there all day, and if he does that.
There's a ground ball into the right field corner, and Russell has at least 2. White, now he's going to go for 3 and makes it. So White seems somewhat casual in going after the ball in the corner, apparently protecting against the ball hitting that curved boards down there, and in the process Russell just kept right on it going.
Russell taking a defensive swing, just putting the ball in play and contact. Now that's one of the most difficult areas of this ballpark to play. That corner of that outfield fence is curved much like a hockey rink, and you have to be very defensive in going after the ball, Dick. That's why normally it looked like it probably been a double, but White had to play defensively. There's a good shot at that part of that outfield fence is curved there, and that's why Russell got a triple out of that.
So Dusty Baker with a chance to give the Dodgers an early lead. A fly ball would do it. The infield shortens up. Their play would be at the plate. And a light rain begins to fall. Baker 6 for 15. The Dodgers' top hitter during the season. 320 average. So Parrish, and that won't do the job. 2 away.
Burris's job in that situation, certainly try to keep the ball in the infield. Don't give up the fly ball to the outfield, a sinker down and in, and beat it right on the ground to Larry Parrish. Parrish has an exceptionally strong arm, very accurate. Burris so far has done his job.
Brings up cleanup man Steve Garvey, and now it'll take a base hit or some added help for the Dodgers to get a run. They can't do it on and out. Garvey 6 for 17, including a home run that broke the 1-1 tie in Saturday's 4th game and sent the Dodgers on to victory. In the entire National League playoffs this year, only 3 times have the road team won. The Expos won at Philadelphia in Game 5, turned their right into the championship series. They won with Burris at Dodger Stadium, that's the case today, the Dodgers in turn feel that they have the pitching advantage, that Burris will not be able to beat Valenzuela 2 straight. Don't tell that right-hander that's the case. He feels he's on his way to the World Series. Montreal Expos message board down in the clubhouse, there where all the information as to what time the buses would leave the stadium and the flights to New York and all the rest of the information. And then on the bottom, written in chalk, was "Be there" or "Be on it." The Yankees in a delightful position of having 4 or 5 days to get all their rotation in order and rested. First base foul line, and the ball came right to him.
Burris set the pitch up perfectly. It's a slider down and away. And the previous pitch he thrown into Garvey, the fastball inside. Good pitching by Ray Burris.
He pitches around a 1-out triple by Russell. No score Dodgers. Montreal coming up.
Guess what I've got in here?
What?
A piece of the sun.
No wonder I can't get a tan.
It's Polaroid's new sun camera. A new system that can turn bad light into good pictures. Here, go ahead, take my picture.
You know it'll be dark.
Nope. You've never been so sure of an instant picture.
Great, but doesn't this cost a lot?
No, but wasting film in bad light does. And besides, you never buy flash or extra battery.
The sun looks the same. Where'd they take the piece from?
The other side.
You've never been so sure.
Presenting one baseball game you can't lose.
Even me? I haven't won a game all year.
It's the Gillette World Series Guaranteed Winners Game. Win a Ford Escort and $25,000.
25 grand and a Ford Escort?
$1,000 and an RCA Home Video Center or a Paper-Mate pen and Gillette coupons.
Ow!
See your Sunday paper or October Reader's Digest for details. Then take your coupons to Gillette game displays. Everybody wins.
Looks like you finally won a game. Yeah.
Albert and James become runaways.
I just pray God they're all right.
Monday on Little House. Then Ron Howard, Cindy Williams, and the gang star in more American Graffiti on NBC.
For the Montreal Expos against Fernando Valenzuela, they'll bat in this order. Tim Raines, the speedster in left field. He's the key to their success. Has to get on base. Rodney Scott will bat second and play second base. In center field, still no RBIs in the playoffs. Andre Dawson. The catcher hits cleanup. Gary Carter has hit safely in all 9 playoff games. Larry Parrish, bat. Switch hitting right fielder Jerry White, the hero in Game 3, will bat 6th. At first base, the spark, the effervescence of this Montreal team, Warren Cromartie. Batting 8th, the veteran shortstop Chris Spire. And on the mound, Ray Burris. Defensively, the Dodgers deploy in this manner. Valenzuela and Socha, the battery, with Say at third, Russell the shortstop, Lopes and Garvey on the right side, Baker in left, right field toward the Dodger dugout. Now, it may be that just in case that sun is about to break through, he doesn't want to be caught without some glasses and lose a pennant because of a ball being lost in the sun. We'll see if that's the case. Yes. Here's the sunglass case.
That's kind of being optimistic. Bring those out today. Fernando Valenzuela, 13-7 with a 248 earned run average. Not a whole lot you can say about this young man that has not been said already. 192 innings pitched. The statistic I like, 192 innings pitched in the third. 140 hits. 140 hits.
52 less burning. That is really
exactly right. If you just study and look at that number, that's just an indication of the number of low hit games that he's had during the course of the season.
Switch hitting Tim Raines. Against Valenzuela in Game 2, Raines base hits, 2 singles and a... Check that, the double came off relief. As you saw the correct graphic, he was 2 for 3 against Valenzuela, and another hit off reliever Niedenfuhr. There's the screwball, 1 and 2.
The screwball that he would throw at different speeds too, Dick. You can throw it hard, you can throw it softly, in and out. Good poise, good control. He can get any of his 5 pitches over at any time. No matter what the count, ahead in the count, behind the count, you throw the screwball 3-0, 3-2. It makes no difference to him.
There it is again. Threw it a little harder that time, 2 and 2. The Expos were commenting yesterday that when Valenzuela first came in to play Montreal and beat the Expos, you see the defensive alignment for Raines, the Montreal players felt they were so concerned about the screwball they forgot he has other good pitches, and he really outpitched them. Ball 3. But they felt in turn their success in beating him at Dodger Stadium was to lay off the screwball, make him throw strikes and hit his other pitches. So they did a complete 360. Full count. Raines has not really had a chance to use his speed in this series. By Baker to get the carom and hold it to a double.
I think had there been an out, Timmy Raines might have tried for a triple, but nobody out in this situation, playing it a little bit more conservatively. Rodney Scott up next, whose job it will be to try and get Raines to go to third base. A point that should be made here now, Dick, is that Raines is very adept at stealing third base. He has fine speed and can steal third base very easily. This is normal speed as you look at it. I think during the normal season, Timmy Raines would have gone all the way to third on that.
Raines, who has had more success as a left-handed hitter, but he punches a double to open the Montreal first inning. Brings up Rodney Scott, one of 3 switch hitters in the Montreal lineup. Raines hits from both sides. So does this man Scott and Jerry White, the right fielder. To hit to right field and fouls it away. It's an interesting little baseball study this first inning, in that with 1 out, Russell went for the triple where he could have scored on an out. In this case, Raines, with no one out, realizes he can stay at second base, and if Scott does his job, even with an out, Raines can get to third with 1 out and not risk being thrown out. And they'll bunt him over. The throw to third, not in time.
Up, immediately throws. He certainly looks safe to me, Dick. Another shot of Raines coming down the line.
This will give us a better look at the tag play. Oh, he's in there. He's safe. Good call. 3 terrific angles, gentlemen. Our NBC camera crew right on that play, and a very crucial one it was. Say argued. A light argument from Lasorda, but no argument on the replay. First and third. Credit Scott with a sacrifice
positioned with his speed to be able to pick up the double play, and hits it right up the middle, makes an easy double play from Lopes to Russell over to Garvey.
So both teams with a chance to break it open early. The Dodgers failed to get a man in from third with one out. After Russell had tripled, Baker grounded out, and so did Garvey. And the Expos get a double and an extra base runner on the sacrifice fielder's choice, but Dawson hits into a 4-6-3 double play. So 2 out, no one aboard, 1-0 Montreal, first inning. Gary Carter, the catcher. But again, it points out the importance of getting Raines over to third base. Technically, it would have been third and 1 out. He still would have scored on that play. Carter hits it high in the air to center. Pedro Guerrero squeezes it for the final out. So Valenzuela, little trouble, but settles quickly. A run on a double, no one left, 1 inning complete. It's Montreal 1, Los Angeles nothing.
There's just one way.
One of a kind.
To describe our specialty.
It's genuine Colonel Sanders.
All you gotta say is original recipe.
Yeah.
America's favorite bite after bite.
Number 1.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. We do it right for you.
How would you describe the perfect chicken?
Just one way.
Original recipe.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. We do chicken right.
Today, when many makers are taking quality out of their cigars, Dutch Masters is putting more in. Many others have switched to manufactured wrapper that isn't all tobacco. But Dutch Masters still grows premium leaf to age into our famous light-colored natural Claro wrapper. And now Dutch Masters is enriching its blend with Havana seed tobaccos. We're putting more quality in so you get more pleasure out. Dutch Masters Panatellas, naturally worth more.
Control 6 to base. Looks like this big old hole in the ground's going to be safe for the night. Over.
They come on home, Pete. It's Miller time.
Miller time. Time to appreciate the difference between a good beer
When it's time to relax
and a great beer.
One beer stands clear.
Miller High Life.
You got the time. We got the beer. Come Miller time. We got the beer.
Hollywood stars join the stars of Washington in a Bob Hope Spectacular.
I haven't done this much bowing since I renegotiated my contract with NBC.
Thursday.
8 o'clock Thursday night, another Bob Hope special. No, you want to be along. Celebrating the opening of the Gerald Ford Museum in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Bob Hope's All-Star Celebration here on NBC Thursday night. Say, Rick Monday and Pete Guerrero to face Ray Burris in the second inning. Burris now pitching with a 1-0 lead. Say with 5 hits in 15 at-bats for the entire series as he came off a month recuperative period for that broken wrist. Certainly played as if he's been in the lineup all along. And the same can be said for Tim Raines, the left fielder of the Expos, both out for about a month with mild fractures. Off speed, 1-2.
Nick, looking at both pictures, Burris pitched extremely well on the top of the first inning. Got a runner at third with 1 out, got out of it with no runs. To Fernando Valenzuela's credit, first and third, nobody out. The situation very difficult for a pitcher. Gets out of it with just 1 run. That's a mark of good pitching on both sides.
2-2. And of course, that's been the theme of the playoffs, both American and National League. Outstanding pitching. And no matter which team goes on to New York for the World Series, one would expect that outstanding pitching to continue. 2-2. See Monday and Guerrero coming out of the dugout, waiting their turns here in the second inning. All three. The day is much better than the forecast, Chad. leadoff man here in the second inning after he was ahead 1-2.
Gives you an indication of the type of game that Burris is going to try to pitch again today, the way he did in Los Angeles, not giving in to hitters. It was a 3-2 count. Ron Cey with good power and comes to the breaking ball. Looks like the slider was high out of the strike zone, but didn't give up and just come in with the fastball. Monday, starting game 4 after being on the bench the first 3 games. Veteran hit .315 during the course of the regular season. Outstanding year for him. Now 35 years of age, former member of the Oakland A's in their glory years of the early 70s. Billy Martin repeating that success and getting his team into the playoffs again this year. Again, took a little off the breaking ball, 0-2. Burris is 6'5", 195 pounds, 31 years of age, lives in Hackensack, New Jersey. The 195 pounds is the spring training weight. In this time when athletes, like so many of us, are conscious of their weight, keeping the weight down, Burris has admitted that part of his success is putting weight on. He's put on 15 pounds. He said he's just been eating more, feels stronger. Not by much did that one miss. 2-2. Montreal leading 1-0, but Burris has walked the leadoff man in the second inning, Ron Cey, and the count now leveled off at 2-2 to Rick Monday. As they say in the dugout, he got into his kitchen with that fastball. He got ahead of Rick Monday with 2 off-speed pitches and came back with 3 fastballs. A good pitching. He set that pitch up well. Got the off-speed pitches down and away and tried to come back in. Missed on the first one, maybe a setup pitch. Missed on the last pitch, and then boom, that one right there. Perfect pitch for Rick Monday to strike out on. That was a fine exhibition of pitching by Ray Burris. Good execution and knew exactly what he wanted to do and went ahead and did it. Against the Expos. The one hit was a home run. Could be 2. Spire to Scott. Hardy. Double play. Again, after walking the leadoff man, shows some fancy pitching, and after 1.5, the Expos lead the Dodgers 1-0.
Oh, a once-in-a-lifetime play! But I've got an instant replay forever on my RCA convertible video recorder. It's really 2 VCRs in one. It records my TV favorites, and it converts to a portable home movie outfit. So I can record Moose's big plays, too. The RCA convertible. 2 VCRs are better than one.
No one gives you more VCR than RCA.
Choose
Choosing a standard size pickup with high 6-cylinder estimated MPG is really no problem, because when you get to the bottom of it, it's Ford. Yes, this new Ford FS pickup gets this great estimated MPG, the highest ever achieved by a standard size 6-cylinder Ford pickup. And for pickups that can carry a heavy 2,500 pounds, the Ford F-150 is up there with this high estimated MPG. So if you want the spacious comfort of a standard size pickup, plus gas mileage this high, get a down-to-earth tough Ford. America's truck. It's built Ford Tough.
You could update your office by switching from manual to electric typewriters. Then update again. And again. Or you could start with the intelligent typewriter from Exxon Office Systems, because it can grow from typewriter to multifunction word processor in 1 hour, right in your office.
Start with a stay with us, Exxon Office Systems.
Our cameras have followed his remarkable boxing career since the very beginning. Be ringside when Johnny Bump City Bumpus steps into the ring for the USBA Junior Welterweight Championship, live in just 2 weeks on NBC Sports World.
Double play that ended the Dodgers' second.
The Expos, who turned 88 double plays during the regular season, get a textbook double play here. Spire, perfect 2-hopper over to Scott. Marty, and Burris is out of the inning.
Now what is that? Look at the line on the roof. Goes all the way up to the lights. Now you follow the line, and you find the foul pole. The line was forced in demand by the fact that Dave Kingman hit a home run that hit up above the foul pole into that overhang. A tremendous Ruthian shot. Parrish hits it high enough, but certainly not far enough, as Garvey goes back and makes the catch. One away. Fernando Valenzuela, his manager's thoughts about the left-handers pitching in cold weather.
Well, he's pitching a couple of pretty tough days in Montreal early in the year, and also in Chicago. So I don't think that it's going to hurt him, the weather. I pitched here for 9 years, and I know what it's like. And if you stay loose, you can pitch in Fairbanks, Alaska, on December the 4th. You have to keep your muscles loose. It's only when you tighten up that the weather really affects you.
And I bet if we had time to continue that conversation, he probably pitched in Fairbanks, Alaska. He's pitching somewhere, off season or on. You pitched in Fairbanks, not in December. Jerry White falls behind the count 0-2. 1-2-3. That simple. Didn't get the bat off the shoulder. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WPTV, Channel 5, West Palm Beach.
WCKT, Miami.
Keep a little Albaline cream or a Vaseline kind of covering on your bat to keep the wind off of it.
Cromartie, an easy 2-hopper to Lopes. And Valenzuela works an easy 1-2-3 second inning. We've completed 2 at Olympic Stadium in Montreal, Canada. The winner can hang the National League gonfalon and go on to the World Series. And it's the Expos ahead early, 1-0.
A bright tin soldier stands 10 feet high while a tiny toy train goes passing by. Little elves working at a hurried pace. By golly, you're in a Christmas place. Gingerbread houses covered with snow, toyland scenes and lights all aglow. Crystal, linens, and gift wrap, too. At a Christmas place, it's waiting for you. A Christmas place in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Boca Raton.
Mrs. Johnson, when you need an antacid, watch your salt. The Surgeon General's report says Americans get too much salt. So reach for Riopan Plus, the low-sodium, high-performance antacid. In laboratory tests, Riopan Plus worked 4 times faster than Maalox or Mylanta and worked longer to neutralize more acid. So reach for Riopan Plus, the low-sodium, high-performance antacid. Riopan Plus.
There was a time in America when making a bad cup of coffee could be very dangerous. Unfortunately, things aren't so simple anymore, but there is a way Americans can avoid bad coffee. Mr. Coffee, the only coffee maker that precisely controls coffee brewing time and temperature for perfect coffee every time. Mr. Coffee, America's perfect coffee maker with a patent to prove it.
Peter of the Montreal dugout, very popular spot. Athletes using all the possible devices to keep themselves warm. There are overhead heating units also in those dugouts. Mike Scioscia, then the pitcher Valenzuela, and the leadoff man Lopes to face Ray Burris. Top of the third, 1-0. Montreal leads here at Olympic Stadium. To Kenberg with Tom Seaver. World Series scheduled to start tomorrow night in New York. The first 2 games will be hosted by the Yankees, the next 3 by the National League winner. Hard by Scioscia. Valenzuela next, and he swings the bat well. Excuse me, foul. You saw the graphic from Game 2 that Scioscia was hitless. The only 3 men that had hits off Burris in Los Angeles were Dusty Baker and Bill Russell, 2 each, and Garvey 1, all singles. So the right-hander of Montreal paraded through the Dodger lineup rather easily. 1-2. Now, as you pointed out, have us all looking at this game more closely, Tom Seaver. There's a fastball out of the strike zone. Got to figure now he's used that to set up this one.
Well, he can come back with 2 pitches. He can set up 1 pitch to set up the same kind of pitch.
Came back with a breaking ball, pulled into foul territory, and it'll be a souvenir.
You can use certain things, use 1 pitch to set up the same kind of pitch or change speeds on the next pitch. It's that every pitch that you throw up there does not have to be a strike, obviously. Bert Hooton gave us a good example of that in the 2 games that we've watched him pitch here in this championship series. Burris certainly pitching to fine game-changing speeds out in Los Angeles. Pitching, the difference between pitching and throwing. There's a purpose for every pitch that he throws up there.
That's fouled back. And again, if you have control of your pitches, you can do that sort of thing. And it goes back to laying the foundation of the art of pitching, and that is you must have control, and you don't have to be a big man or a large youngster to do that. You can learn how to find the spots.
Now, the basic foundation never changes, Dick. Exactly right. You get that foundation, throwing strikes and throwing low strikes, getting that control. That's the big point.
High in the air to right, hit pretty well, but Jerry White has room. In front of the 375 sign. 1 away. Manager Jim Fanning of the Montreal Expos. His thoughts on his pitcher today.
Well, Burris, when he beat the Dodgers in Los Angeles, allowed about 3 or 4 well-hit balls, and the rest were pop-ups, easy ground balls, and I think he has to pitch the same kind of game, off-speed pitches, low-breaking balls, spot the fastball, and he ought to have that all well prepared in his own mind.
Question around Montreal whether Jim Fanning will be back as manager next year. I look at it in the Dallas Green syndrome. Dallas Green, of course, coming down from
for September in the playoffs, and that he really would go back to something he does very well, and that's finding young talent and developing it. But if he gets him into the World Series, it's going to be tough for him to go back upstairs.
It's the same thing that Dallas Green said last year. Same kind of, I'm coming down, I'm not, I'm just going to fill in here and help out. But the sincerity that Jim Fanning does have when you do talk to him about being a company man, you know that he's 100% sincere. And he told us that first day that we came in here during the divisional playoff series that if they want me down here next year, I'll be down here. I'm a company man. John McHale wants me down here to manage this club. I'll manage it. If he wants me out upstairs, I'll go back upstairs.
why they're successful. And they've had Fanning in the organization for some time. Lopes rolls foul. And one of the reasons why, in the 1980s, the Montreal Expos are a team that just is going to be measured with high success. They've got fine young talent now, and they have a lot of good talent developing. This is in a one-time playoff. We're going to see the Montreals around for a long time. Broken bat, chance for Spire, but Lopes runs well. Gets him by a half stride. Burris works a 1-2-3 third inning to the delight of this Olympic Stadium crowd. Middle of the third in Montreal. Expos 1, Dodgers nothing.
Johnson's Baby Shampoo presents Bucky Dent and Bill Russell.
My hair is a mess after every game.
Same here.
So I have to shampoo every day.
Yeah, but shampooing that much worries me.
This mid-October afternoon for the National League pennant, but Olympic Stadium certainly reminds us of the grandeur of the 76 games, and that we should congratulate our friends in Calgary as they have been honored as the host of the 1988 Winter Games. Congratulations to all the good people in Calgary. Montreal up, last of the third inning. Spire, Burris, and Raines against Valenzuela. Chris 3 for 13 against the Dodgers. Ball one. Yeah, the story broke today that George Bamberger has accepted the New York Mets managerial position. Bamberger, who guided the pitching staff of the Orioles and went to Milwaukee as the manager, had heart problems, open heart surgery, has recovered, and apparently back in the ranks of the skippers in the National League. We wish him the very best. Fine teacher, and especially when it comes to handling a pitching staff. Hard hit ball. Russell with quick hands and throws him out. That ball was eating him up. Next Sunday, we invite you to start things with NFL 81. Brian Gumbel, highlight scores, late-breaking news. Outstanding piece of journalistic work yesterday on the story that broke out of the Oakland Raider camp. And then an NFL doubleheader, a big doubleheader day for NBC. Denver, Buffalo, New England, Washington, Baltimore, and Cleveland, Cincinnati, New Orleans. Merlin Olsen and I will be down at Texas Stadium for the Dolphins and the Cowboys. Seattle Jets, Kansas City, Oakland, San Diego, Chicago. Boy, that's a great lineup of games. Ray Burris loops one to Garvey. Now Burris swinging away, not able to clear the head of the Dodger first baseman. 2 out in the third inning. Both pitchers breezing along.
Valenzuela only 5 pitches last inning, 4 pitches so far this inning.
5 outs and 9 pitches. That's not
5 pitches last inning. That's only 2 over the all-time record.
I got that figured out. You got that? Did you ever have a 3-pitch inning?
Oh, sure. The best kind.
Isn't there a basic rule that after the first 2 men swing at the first pitch and make an out that you at least take 1 pitch?
Well, you got to dare the guy. Throw it right down the middle. Hope he hits it right at somebody.
I imagine you do when a guy comes up with that spot. You look at him and say, Raines, foul ball. Raines double and scored the only run of the game as the leadoff man in the first inning. Driving it in the gap left center field between Baker and Guerrero. Baker came over from left to play the carom. Raines then moved on to third base in a sacrifice and scored when Dawson hit into a double play.
You know, the condition in the infield may have been another reason why he didn't go to third, too, Dick. A little bit wet. That infield doesn't really dry out because it doesn't get any direct sun because of the overhang here at Olympic Stadium. No outs, a little wet infield. You know, that could have kept him there at second base.
Well, if you're playing the name game in light of the weather, Raines, I guess, should score first. It's been dominating our lives the last couple of days. But on the other side, it is Monday, and the Dodgers have him in right field.
You promised me you weren't going to say that.
I've never promised you anything. strikeout for Fernando, and after 3, 1-0 Montreal. Lines and 375 in the alleys, but as we've mentioned before, although those dimensions don't seem to create a large environment, the ballpark is bigger than those numbers. The ball does not carry as well here as in other parts. Burris starts off Russell, who tripled his first time up with a slow curveball.
Russell in the situation, Dick, has got to be a very patient hitter. That's what he's trying to do. Leading off and coming up behind him, Baker and Garvey and Say.
And another base hit for Russell. Raines trapping the ball and keep it in front of him. So Russell, who had 2 singles and 3 at-bats against Burris, the first game is 2 for 2 today.
You got a hanging curveball up in the strike zone, and Tommy hawked it out there to left field. Timmy Raines almost had a shot at it. Lucky with this wet AstroTurf out there to keep that ball in front of him. He does a good job, at least, not playing that ball off to the side. If he's not going to be able to catch it, it's going to hit off of him and keep the ball in front of him and keep Russell at first base.
He played that into a pretty difficult short hop.
Well, with his speed, though, he's got a pretty good shot at catching that ball. Doesn't really know how hard it was hit.
He grounded to third his first at bat. That was a big out for Burris because Russell had tripled, and with 1 out, Baker trying to drive him in. Couldn't get it by Parrish, the third baseman. And then Garvey rolled out to the mound, and the Dodger chance went down the drain.
Certainly, you got to feel that your 3, 4, 5 hitters are the big guns on your team, obviously. You look at the numbers for both teams. The Dodgers are 17 for 47. They're 3, 4, 5 guys. Baker, Garvey, and Say. The Expos 13 for 45. Pretty even there. The difference in RBIs. The Dodgers 3, 4, 5 hitters have 8 RBIs. The Expos big guns really only have 2 RBIs.
Hey, you've been doing your homework.
Oh, I got some good stuff here today for you, Phil. I'm going to amaze you.
You're awesome. Your name was Andy instead of Tom. I never liked that terrific anyway, but awesome Andy would really read well.
See how Baker's hands come forward? Baker kind of committing to the pitch. It had been a strike. His hands would not have been in good position to hit that ball. Carry the hands forward.
And Carter, meanwhile, made a good shot, a good play, and getting in front of the ball. And a chance at a double play, and now can only get 1. Couldn't quite grip the ball to go to second base, and that was Carter's design all along. He wanted to get the ball to shortstop Spirer and turn a double play. Couldn't quite find the handle and has to settle for the 1 out. Serves as a sacrifice for the Dodgers.
Carter, considered one of the best defensive, if not the best defensive catcher in baseball. Boy, he thought he had a shot at second base. It looks like he just couldn't get the handle on the ball. He double pumped. Looking back at Baker, of course, they had the collision at home plate the other day. 2 good hard-nosed players.
Garvey up. He rolled back to the mound his first time up. Russell in scoring position. Out of play. And it appears Garvey's going to have to go back, get a bat with a new handle in it.
Sometimes you wonder if Steve Garvey doesn't go back and get another forearm in a way that is so strong and seemingly can fight the ball right off his fist. You swear that sometimes he'll swing the bat and the ball doesn't hit the bat, it's his forearm, and he'll dunk a little single into right field. His teammates call him Popeye because of the size and shape of his forearms.
He looks so big in uniform, and then when you meet him in person, he was with us last night after the game. You're kind of amazed at how he isn't very tall. He doesn't look as big and strong when in a dress suit. Oh, he is powerful. inning. Garvey just missed as he sent Raines to the warning pad.
Steve, a very compact, short swing. The ball looked like it was hit better than it actually was. He was out in front just a little bit. Burris had been throwing fastballs in. He broke one bat, came back with another fastball, and Steve adjusting to trying to get out in front a little bit more on the fastball. Burris took something off and hits it to the warning track. Hit it good, but hit it to the warning track.
The old saying in baseball, the art is to take a round ball and hit it with a round bat squarely, and they're talking about such a fine point, that sweet spot. Will Marty have a play? Yes, he does, and Burris pitches out of trouble again. No runs, one hit. The Dodgers leave another man at third. We go to the home half of the fourth inning. Expos 1, Dodgers nothing. From Saturday on NBC Sports World, Johnny Bumpus. It's good to be here in Montreal. Johnny Bumpus saw him in the Olympic trials, an outstanding talent. He'll be fighting Willie Rodriguez for the USBA Junior Welterweight Championship. A week from Saturday, October 31st, you'll also see athletes test their skills of tricky winds of the Sierra Nevadas, the National Hang Gliding Championships. NBC Sports World. Would not pay me enough money to do a hang glide. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rodney Scott to be followed by Andre Dawson and Gary Carter. Valenzuela's allowed only 1 hit. First man he faced Tim Raines, and Raines doubled and scored the game's only run. Scott regarded as a better hitter right-handed than left. Center fielder Guerrero playing him just right. 1 out in the 4th inning. Winner goes to the World Series tomorrow. Both managers commented on what they'd like to be doing tonight.
I'm hopefully anticipating that we will drive to the airport tonight with a police escort and go to New York City.
That plane of ours, the KO-2, will be taken off immediately following the ball game. And all I can do is just hope and pray that it heads for the Big Apple.
Andre Dawson grounded into a double play, and on that ground ball, the game's only run scored in the 1st inning.
Who have a lot of right-handed hitting power, Dick, in their lineup during against left-handers during the regular season. They won 11, lost 12, and they get in this postseason play, and they've only beaten 4 left-handers in a row. Carlton twice. He went around. There's Joe West. About the left-handers that they have beat haven't been slouches by any means. Carlton twice, Valenzuela, Royce. Many people think of them the best in the game. Another shot of that umpire help, 3rd strike. Joe West calling it at first base.
I think they're a little tougher in the National League on that call than the American League. American League umpires that give you a little more of a check swing. Well, you don't get much of a check on this side. Gary Carter to center field his first time up.
You can see that bat hit come out in front of the plate. The umpire's going to call it. You know, he bet went all the way to look at Gary Carter's face. He turned away, didn't want to look at the umpire. A little bit of a salesman on that, but that, you know, he hit that. Might have gone out of the park.
Venezuela, who led the National League and the Major Leagues in strikeouts, one ahead of Carlton. Soto, Ryan, Gullickson, and the Expos was fifth in the National League. 1-2. Valenzuela, who won his first 8 games. This was the sensation of baseball, and certainly part of this unusual baseball year, 1981. Became a sellout, standing room only draw throughout the National League. Led the league in shutouts. There's a screwball, and Carter showing good patience as the second hit for the Expos. There's 10 consecutive playoff games in which Carter has a base hit.
A good example there of the high screwball. Gary Carter got his body out front, but one of the keys in hitting is keeping your hands back. You can see the ball hit right in the hole between Say and Russell. Carter was out in front of that pitch with his body, but kept his hands back. That's why he can hit it solidly.
2-out single by Carter brings up Larry Parrish. He popped to first. His first trip against Valenzuela.
With a screwgee. 2 balls and no strikes gives you the kind of idea, the confidence that Valenzuela will have in that pitch. And you can see not only the ball in good location, but off-speed Parrish is way out in front.
Foul back, and it's 2-2. Some feel that when you have a man that throws a screwball as well as Valenzuela, that maybe a left-handed hitting lineup is better than right-handers. Then that screwball comes in a more natural way. Short way for the force. So Parrish stings the ball for an out, and the Montreal Expos are going in the 4th inning. No runs a hit. They leave their first man of the game. Approaching the halfway mark, and this the final game of the season. 1-0 Montreal. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Seems like eons ago that the Yankees wrapped up their half of the championship series, beating Oakland 3-1 and 13-3 at home, and then the final game shut out 4-0 out at Oakland. So the Yankees once again in the series. Here in this series, Dodgers 5-1 in game 1 behind Houghton. Then Burris beat Valenzuela 3-0. Then the scene shifted here to Montreal, where Montreal on Jerry White's 3-run homer won 4-1 in game 3, and the Dodgers with a late attack, breaking a 1-1 tie in the 8th and winning on Saturday 7-1. 1-0 Montreal. Each side with 2 hits as we go to the 5th inning. And thus far, Burris working on a string of 13 consecutive scoreless innings against the Dodgers. Burris motioning for Tim Raines, the left fielder, to play more into left center field against Monday. First time up. He's had some good cuts in the 2 games that he started.
It's funny, we think Rick, when he sees that pitcher move that left fielder around and to a pull position for a left-hand hitter, that, well, I might be getting some more off-speed pitches here. You got to think that Burris is going to throw them anyway, but sometimes if you don't get that outfield organized, Raines calling timeout in left field again. There's some paper loose out there.
There's an imaginative fan, brings out play on words.
Sometimes if you don't get that your outfielders organized where to play defensively if they don't know beforehand how you're going to pitch to certain individuals, and then you have to move them.
You're tipping your hand, perhaps.
Might be tipping your hand, exactly right. You can always try and decoy a hitter by doing that.
In other words, if, let's take the reverse, had Burris motion all of his outfielder to play Monday not to pull, then he may have been telling Monday, hey, I'm going to try to get you with heat, throw the hard
stuff away. That's exactly right. Many hitters you see when they walk in the box will check the defense. Sometimes that will give them a clue on how a pitcher might try to work against them.
Well, you saw the outfield dead to pull against Monday. And another off-speed breaking ball. The count is 0-2. Season with memories of missing a call or an athlete making a mistake that could cost the team the pennant. That ball hit very well to right field down the line in the corner, and it is a foul ball. Monday flirting with a home run that would tie the game.
He struck out last time on almost the identical pitch, fastball up and in, and he's playing traffic cop right now. He wants that ball on the left side of that screen.
Carlton Fisk syndrome. Those hitters, they swing, and you pitchers here, get out of here, get out of here. What are you saying?
Can't tell you.
You can't tell me a lot of stuff. Monday settles for a single to center. The leadoff man on for the Dodgers. With 2 hits, or with a hit and a run, and now Monday with a hit.
After the fastball that was just foul for a home run, Burris came back with a breaking ball. The infield was overplaying Monday to pull. The ball not hit well, but seeing eyes right through the middle of the infield.
Guerrero hit into a double play his last trip. The last hit and the only hit he has in the series. There goes a runner, and it's fouled away as skipper Tom Lasorda of the Dodgers plays a little hit and run here in the 5th inning. Crowd again tough to judge, not having done that many games in Olympic Stadium, but they expected over 40, and we would guess 25-30 range, maybe more. On this Monday, it'll be announced as a larger crowd, and that most of the seats were sold. A lot of folks just couldn't take advantage on this Monday afternoon. Fouled away. Interesting strategy by Lasorda. First the hit and run, and then trying to bunt that runner along, play for a tying run here in the 5th inning.
Well, Guerrero last time up grounded into the double play is not swinging the bat well, as you said. Only 1 hit throughout this league championship series, and Lasorda would like to get his runner at first base, Rick Monday, down in the scoring position at second. Give Scioscia a chance to drive in a run. Pedro not swinging the bat well.
Tried to get him to chase that breaking ball, which he has done in this series. 2-2.
Guerrero certainly struggling throughout this series so far, but he is so strong. He's the kind of guy that can come out of it on 1 pitch.
No one out. Monday at first base. Out of play. Will it be the first International World Series? Montreal United States, or will it be another in the long line of great series between the Yankees and the Dodgers, who have met 10 times in World Series play? And the count now 3-2. Well, this is decision-making time. 3-2, runner at first, no outs. What do you throw? Burris, not normally a strikeout pitcher. Monday's got decent speed. They've already tried the hit run. They've already tried the bunt. Figures he's going. And Burris just a little token toss. This is the situation where a pitcher has to have the confidence in that breaking ball if he really wants to throw it. If you don't throw it, if you do throw for a ball, then you really dig yourself a hole. Throw a fastball, you give in to the hitter. He goes, and it's a base hit to right center field. Monday will make it to third easily on a long single by Guerrero. Looked as if he got a fastball. So the Dodgers first and third and no one out in the fifth inning. 3-2 the count. It just swings everything. Percentages swing in favor of the hitter, and it was looked like a high sinker, Dick. Trying to get the ball probably down and in. Wanted the double play. Certainly didn't want to walk Guerrero. And Pete just fought it off and hit it up in that right center field alley. Left-handed hitter Scioscia is Fanning checking his lineup card. And checking the sky, still gray overhead. You see Fanning motioning there on your screen. He's talking about a slow hit ground ball. If you can't get the double play to Larry Parrish, go ahead and go home. Cut the run off. Scioscia hit a long fly ball to right his last time up. Foul back toward us. Bullpen is busy now for Montreal. Stan Bonson, veteran right-hander. Shot to second base for the out. Oh, my. Scioscia hit a bullet, but right at Rodney Scott. Rick Monday at third base. What your coach at third base will tell you. You see Danny Ozark go on the ground ball. Don't get double up on a line drive. That's the #1 rule of that base runner at third base. Or any base, as a matter of fact. With nobody out or one out, don't get double up on the line drive. Make that line drive get through the infield. You're going to score anyway. Same for the fly ball. You don't need to get too big a lead, because if the ball's hit in the air and isn't caught, you're going to score anyway, and you want to be sure to be ready to tag up and be flying in to carry that run on a sacrifice fly. Valenzuela again is a very good hitter for a pitcher, trying to help his own cause. And on to second goes Guerrero as Carter goes out and gets the ball, and Burris was covering home plate, the pitcher. So that takes away the double play. It was a situation you normally would think that Valenzuela would be bunting. Burris does the job for him. Wild pitch, curveball down in the dirt. They know that Valenzuela can swing the bat well. Even starting the pitcher off with a breaking ball. Infield now will play in. Of course, there's a little risk in that as well, because if Valenzuela gets a bat on the ball sharply, he can get 2 runs on a single now. And of course, the Expos also have to be alert for a possible squeeze play. 1-0 Expos, 1 out in the 5th inning. Ball 2. 2 game-winning hits. Now, this isn't an automatic out. You've got to pitch to Valenzuela. Hard to tell whether he was just taking a pitch and wanted to show the bunt, or whether or not there might have been something on a safety squeeze. Ozark at third. Chris Mundy checking with his coach on each pitch to see if it plays in the works. The job done as he ties it up with a ground ball to second. Monday coming in. The wild pitch now figures in the inning, as that might have been a double play opportunity. Wasn't hit very hard. That might have been a chance.
Fastball on the inside part of the plate. Valenzuela broke his bat. Valenzuela does not seem to run well, Dick, and that definitely could have been a double play. Even as far as Rodney Scott came over to make the play on that ball, they would have had a chance at the double play.
So Valenzuela, who had 7 RBIs during the course of the year, has a very big one today. And the Dodgers have finally scored off Ray Burris after being shut out 3-0 in the first game and through 4 innings today. And still have the go-ahead run in scoring position. Guerrero with Dave Lopes, the leadoff man up. He's 0 for 2 today. That moved the runner from first to second, took away the double play, and Valenzuela with a ground ball gets in the tying run. Go, Ray, go, they chant. Looking at him as if to say, what are you doing?
Get the ball out at the end of the bat, Dick. Burris took something off. Spire had to hustle his throw. Lopes runs extremely well. Good call.
Just didn't let that toe go. He tried to do the toe dance with a bag and couldn't maintain contact. Just came off enough. There you can see clearly that he had to leave the bag. Split seconds, little timing areas of this game that are so delicate and yet so important. And the Dodger 5th inning still very much alive. And Bill Russell already with a single and a triple off Burris. Plus 2 hits in the first game is the batter.
The bad throw by Spire, of course. Having to rush a little bit with Davey Lopes, the runner, with good speed going down, and the factor of the weather, the cold weather. Cold fingertips. You don't get a real good feeling on the ball.
Look who's warming up now in the Montreal bullpen. Steve Rogers, the ace of the Expo staff. We're in the 5th inning. Rogers, who won on Friday night. It was Rogers who beat Philadelphia 2 games, including the 5th and deciding game at Veterans Stadium to get the Expos into the championship series. of the 5th inning, and here's the final out of the Dodger 5th. Aspire making a fine play, just nailing Russell by half stride to close out the inning as the Dodgers tied it. Singles by Monday and Guerrero, and the ground out by Valenzuela, and after the error by Spire, had a chance for more. In the last of the 5th inning, it'll be Jerry White, Warren Cromartie, and Chris Spire against Fernando Valenzuela. Next Sunday, NFL action. NFL 81 with Brian Gumbel at 12:30. That's the lineup. The Broncos and the Bills, an outstanding matchup. New England and Washington, two teams that really have seemed to getting their act together here at midseason. Baltimore at Cleveland. Cincinnati playing New Orleans. And 4 outstanding late games. Dolphins and the Cowboys. Seattle and New York. The Jets on a good roll. Kansas City, fresh from a big win against Denver. At Oakland. Raiders with a win on Sunday. And San Diego's Chargers visit the Bears in Chicago. All on NBC this Sunday. Halfway mark, 4.5 innings in the book, and the game is even at 1. Last of the 5th inning, and here's the final out of the Dodger 5th. Aspire making a fine play, just nailing Russell by half stride to close out the inning as the Dodgers tied it. Singles by Monday and Guerrero, and the ground out by Valenzuela, and after the error by Spire, had a chance for more. In the last of the 5th inning, it'll be Jerry White, Warren Cromartie, and Chris Spire against Fernando Valenzuela. Next Sunday, NFL action. NFL 81 with Brian Gumbel at 12:30. That's the lineup. The Broncos and the Bills, an outstanding matchup. New England and Washington, two teams that really have seemed to getting their act together here at midseason. Baltimore at Cleveland. Cincinnati playing New Orleans. And 4 outstanding late games. Dolphins and the Cowboys. Seattle and New York. The Jets on a good roll. Kansas City, fresh from a big win against Denver. At Oakland. Raiders with a win on Sunday, and San Diego's Chargers visit the Bears in Chicago. All on NBC this Sunday. Jerry White took a 3rd strike his first time up. In fact, he took 3 straight strikes without a swing. Right-handed who homered off Royce to win the game on Friday night.
You know, one thing hitters will do sometimes, Dick, they go up and look for a pitcher's best pitch, even if they can't hit it. It's one of the, I think, mistakes mentally that hitters make sometimes. They'll go look for something that is the most difficult thing for them to execute.
Soft pop fly, and it'll be out of play.
Example of how to go the other way on that is Roberto Clemente, the late great Roberto Clemente, used to be going to the plate. If you could make your pitches down and away in the strike zone, he'd give it to you. He wasn't going to look for a pitch that he couldn't handle. He looked for something that he could handle, look for his strengths. And if you were good, you could beat him fine.
Another bat going into the furnace as White is sawed off.
You'd have to think that when White came up the first time, taking 3 pitches, that he's looking for the pitcher's best pitch, really puts himself in the hole.
Valenzuela crossed him up with 3 fastballs inside, all taken, and he was looking for that screwball away. Warren Cromartie grounded to second his first time up. Had a key double against Valenzuela at Dodger Stadium. The Denver Bears had an outfield of Cromartie, Ellis Valentine, and Andre Dawson. Valentine traded to the Mets at midseason this year for Jeff Reardon. Only 2 hits allowed by Valenzuela. Out of play, and it's 1-2. Habit of looking to the skies, closing the eyes, and then picking up the target. Middle of his windup. case you joined us late, Tim Raines led off the Montreal first inning with a double to left center, sacrificed to third, and scored on a double play. The Dodgers tied it in this, the fifth inning. Singles by Mundy and Guerrero, and Valenzuela's ground ball out. Cromartie waving at the breaking ball. 4 strikeouts for Valenzuela.
Example of the pitches that Valenzuela does have. Not only the outstanding curveball, good slider, good screwball, good control, good fastball, straight changeup. That's a slider down and away. And of course, Cromartie pulling off the pitch, really giving up the whole outside half of the plate. Seems like it's gotten colder, Dick, too.
Temperature, though, is 46 degrees currently.
The wind blowing around. One thing about this stadium, in the on-deck circle, Ray Burris with a full coat on. Olympic Stadium here enclosed, so some of that air and the breeze will have a tendency to stay out. Will not be as severe inside the stadium as it is outside.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
And this is South Florida 7, WCKT Miami.
From Olympic Stadium, Montreal, Dick Enberg with Tom Seaver. This the final game of the 1981 National League season. The Expos and the Dodgers fighting for a chance to meet the Yankees in the World Series. Tied at 1. We're getting down to a precious few innings for the pennant. Spire lines into Russell, and the inning is over. 5 innings complete. The Montreal Expos scored in the first inning. Dick Enberg and Tom Seaver, and regardless of who wins today, it felt like a winner having been associated with you the last couple of weeks.
It has been a pleasure indeed, and working with a real pro, I've learned quite a bit, and I appreciate everything. I really do.
All right, Thomas. You've really taught us a lot about appreciating this fine game of baseball. Your obvious love for this game has been shared by all of us. We thank our producer, George Finkel, our director, John Gonzalez, all our technicians, cameramen. Outstanding work. The 6th inning tied at 1. I want to send along also our appreciation for the fine work all season long on NBC's coverage of Major League Baseball. Joe Garagiola and Tony Kubek, I know they're watching today, and sometimes it seems a little unfair how scheduling goes. Who's to predict what teams are going to be left in the playoffs? And somehow the Garagiola Kubek team should be doing this game. I understand that they'd love to be here. Baker fouls it away, and it's 1-2. NBC, of course, does not have the World Series this year, but will have it next year. Be a happier season for everyone, hopefully fans and players. Spire gets Baker.
One of the benefits of playing on the AstroTurf is that the defense in the interior defense can play deeper. They'll get to more balls because that ball will scoot across that artificial surface. Chris Spire, a very solid player at shortstop. May not have the range that some of the players in this game have, but he has a fine arm and a very steady guy out there at his position. Very important position indeed.
Garvey fouls it away. Temperature dropping. You were right. It is cooler and going lower. There was a prediction we could have some snow flurries late this afternoon or evening in Montreal. A 1-1 tie. Each pitch now, so very important. Pitcher for the Expos, really helped them into this pennant fight down the stretch. Starts to tune up in the Montreal Montreal bullpen. Reardon, who has had some arm problems.
If anything, this delay from yesterday, Dick, is going to help the Expos in the sense that Reardon, who has been having some arm problems, some back problems, gets him another day to get rest. You can see him trying to get the stiffness out of that. Oh, it's almost described in the back of the armpit area right in there. He's had some troubles in there, some stiffness. The extra day here, going to give him another chance. I think Galen Cisco, the pitching coach, feels that Reardon's got one shot. He's got one game and then hopefully a day off, and he has been the big man in that bullpen for him. There's a nice pitcher's pitch right there. My kind of pitch. I like that.
You can see how he set it up now. 2-2. One hop to Scott. And there's 2 away. Rodney Scott gets Garvey's ground ball, and Ron Cey is the batter. Cey, who was the toughest of Dodgers on Montreal pitching this year, 7 games, 5 home runs.
I asked him about that, Dick. He said, it just happened to hit me. The Expos happened to hit me when I was hot. Both hot spells that I really had during the year, we just happened to be playing the Expos.
Ball 1.
Hit a home run one game and then hitting a home run the other game. There's Woody Fryman joining Jeff Reardon down there. That's one thing as a pitcher will do as he schedule a pitch during the regular season. Watch the team that he's going to pitch against in the next week or 2. See who's hot, who's not hot.
High fly ball to center. Dawson there. Burris comes back to get the Dodgers in order in the 6th inning. Last of the 6th inning for the Expos. It'll be Burris, leadoff hitter Raines, and Scott tied at 1. Celebrating mood here in Montreal as we go to the last of the 6th inning, tied at 1 apiece. The Happy Wanderer, they love that song. That's their theme. And of course, the Wanderer will indeed be happy. The one that eases its way down to New York City for the World Series tomorrow night. Burris trying to beat out a bunt for a base hit, leading off the 6th inning. He sent a soft liner to Garvey, his only at bat. Tim Raines and Rodney Scott on the top of the Expo order will follow. Valenzuela allowing only 2 hits, a double to Raines, who scored in the 1st, and a single in the 4th inning by Carter. And that is his 5th strikeout. Shows 8 o'clock Eastern time. Hope you'll join one of America's great stars, Bob Hope, in a sensational show this Thursday night, 8 o'clock. Raines doubled to left center on a 3-2 pitch, leading off the 1st inning. Moved to third on a sacrifice by Scott and scored when Dawson hit into a double play. Inside, then the screwball outside, 1-1. So 3 different pitches that he's shown Raines. 2-1. watching Valenzuela and the way he pitches wide. Major League reporters went to his birth certificate. They can't believe he's 20 years of age. Ball 3, 3-2. Valenzuela has not walked a man today, and he struck out 5. It was a 3-2 pitch that Raines hit his double.
Probably get a fastball, Dick. The two men that will probably be 1-2 or 2-1 in the Rookie of the Year voting.
Fastball hit easily to short. Russell throws out Raines, and there's 2 gone. That's an interesting matchup, wasn't it?
He got the fastball first time. The fastball, he drove it into the left center alley on a 3-2 pitch for a double. This time, Valenzuela comes to the inside part of the plate. Seemed to hit it a little bit up the bat, and simple 2-bouncer to Bill Russell.
Rodney Scott, a sacrifice and a fly ball to center. High pop fly. Second baseman Lopes and the right fielder Monday. Lopes handles it as Valenzuela eases his way through the Montreal lineup again. That's the 4th time he's retired them in order. We're down to 3 innings, and it's still tied at 1. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Starting Wednesday, October 28th, Tony Randall stars in the new comedy Love, Sidney, and Jack Klugman begins a new exciting season as Quincy. What a couple, Randall and Klugman, back to back.
Come on, you guys. It's dinner time. I want to go home.
Welcome him home with hearty home-style cooking.
You're out.
Welcome him home with Green Giant.
Green Giant means hearty cooking like lasagna, thick with beef, cheese, and rich tomato sauce. Good hearty home-style cooking.
So who won?
I think I did.
Welcome him home with hearty home-style cooking. Welcome him home with Green Giant.
You've got hundreds of buys to see at J. Byron's this week.
Famous name luggage. Now, 50% off.
The hottest names.
Men's terry cloth knit shirts, $9.99.
The hottest savings.
14-karat gold names, $19.99.
All for the hottest people.
Warner's and Maidenform bras, sale priced from $8.79.
Shop fast. J. Byron's this week ends Sunday.
Totals after 6 innings, and this is the final game of the playoffs for the National League pennant. The Montreal Expos 1 run on just 2 hits and an error. They've left only 1 man. And the Dodgers a run, 4 hits and no errors, have left 4 and left Russell at third after he had tripled with 1 out in the first inning. Jim Fanning's team really not too many opportunities against Valenzuela. Burris holding him close.
One big decision that Fanning had was whether Burris would hit last inning, leading off that for the Expos. He's thrown 90 pitches so far. But he pitched well the last 3 outs in the 6th.
3 big outs, Baker, Garvey, and Say. Monday, who singled and scored the Dodgers run in the 5th inning after he just missed hitting a home run leading off the inning. Just foul. High fly to center. Dawson there. Andre puts it away. 1 out here in the 7th inning.
Funny, Dick, how you play an entire season, first this season with the strike and all the inequities and whatever, what have you with that. You play an entire season, you come down here and it's 9 outs. You got to win in 9 outs. Both teams tied, 1-1, 9 outs aside.
Every game, every pitch so important. And the managers go through that speech every year in spring training. Every game, every situation. And now all the lessons of the year, all the missed opportunities, as well as all those glorious moments where a man's come through in a pressure situation. And who will be the star today? Pedro Guerrero hits that one deep to left center field. Dawson makes the play.
might have been out of Dodger Stadium. Guerrero hits it right on the nose. A breaking ball that was up a little bit, but it gives you a good example of the kind of speed that Andre Dawson has. They talk about him in the same way they talked about a young Willie Mays, a player who could do it all. Hit, run, hit with power, great arm, great coverage. Patrols that center field for Montreal as well as anybody they could want.
We got a good break on that ball because he's been playing everyone shallow, and that ball was stung. Guerrero thought he had at least a base hit, if not a home run, when it left his bat. 2 out. Scioscia. Ball 1. Last 3 outs have been to center fielder Andre Dawson. Scioscia has not had a hit since his home run in game 1.
Harry Winstead just taking time to get somebody in the on-deck circle for the Dodgers. You have to have somebody out there. It's Valenzuela's turn to be in the on-deck circle, but he's maybe changing a sweatshirt. Davey Lopes goes out there as a courtesy to him. He stands for him. Fernando trying to stay warm as long as he can before he comes out there. You would think under these situations you wouldn't need to have Lopes out there. Dawson got a chance to make it 4 in a row. He does. And it'll be Andre Dawson who leads off the bottom of the 7th inning for Montreal. Stretch half of the 7th. They're up to sing in Montreal, and they're looking to cheer in the home half of the 7th.
Here's 2 good friends.
Come on, guys, just 2 more floors.
You know, we heard apartments were hard to find. But the roof?
Well, the apartment's on the 3rd floor, but...
Valenzuela and Burris both pitching an outstanding game. Tied at 1. Last of the 7th inning in Montreal. Valenzuela against Andre Dawson, who is 0 for 2 today. No RBIs against Philadelphia and none against Los Angeles in the playoffs.
Boy, you look at him lunging, Dick, he just does not look comfortable with the plate. Not the same Andre Dawson that the Expos are used to looking at during the regular season.
One of the top candidates for the league's most valuable player award. Well, both these men, Valenzuela and Dawson. Ball 2. Fans know their big men are up here in the 7th inning.
When the hitter gets out ahead of the count, Dick, as you well know, he can sit on one pitch and can't get the bat head out front. He's doing something wrong, especially a hitter of the caliber of Andre Dawson.
Hopped up. Lopes at second wants it. And the Dawson slump continues.
He simply has been struggling all through the Philly series and all through the series here against the Dodgers. He just seems to be swinging the bat, trying to swing with his hands from his armpit. It never gets the bat head out front. The right side collapses, and I know it's very frustrating for him. He is a hard-working, dedicated athlete.
It's amazing that Montreal, here in the 7th inning, tied, and with a shot at the World Series, has been able to do it this well without the contribution of Dawson. And one of the reasons is that Gary Carter has had some big hits in the series, and of course the real big reason, Montreal's superb pitching in these last 10 games. Carter, one of the 2 Parrish on deck, and now the Dodger infield reflecting the late inning defensive strategy with Say at third and Garvey at first, hugging the line. Say very deep, and you can see only a step off the line. Garvey a couple of steps away. Outfield deep toward left. Screwball, and Valenzuela strikes out Carter. 6th strikeout for Fernando.
Good pitching by Valenzuela. He got behind in the sense of a 2-ball, 1-strike count and came back with a screwball, then a fastball, and another screwball. Carter way out front. You know, it amazes me, Dick, is the control that he has with that screwball. Way out there, right in the corner, right on the knees. Perfect location, perfect movement, perfect speed.
Larry Parrish, the batter. Ball 1. Valenzuela has not walked a man. Parrish hit it hard the last time up, right at Say, the third baseman. 1-1 the count.
Talking about not walking a man, he's been 2-0 on the count, but 3 times. He's been at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Twice, both those times to Raines. Dusty Baker played that ball perfectly off the wall, but a high throw to second. I don't believe they'd have had him at second base even with a good throw.
Parrish, from the time he hit the ball, was reading it double that he wanted to get himself in scoring position. Valenzuela. White has struck out and grounded out. Dave Stewart still warmed up in the Dodger pen. He's been throwing periodically.
Davey Lopes called Scioscia out to the mound. A little conference and see what they're going to get organized, how they're going to do it, where they're going to pitch somebody, if they're going to pitch to somebody. They're going to play the defense.
First base is open. Lasorda went out briefly to talk to Valenzuela, perhaps asking him, did he want to walk White and take his chances on Cromartie? And apparently Valenzuela said he wants to pitch to White. Ball 1. White, the star of Game 3. He hit a 3-run homer to break a 1-1 tie. Similar situation. Bottom of the 7th.
behind in the count, 2 balls and no strikes with first base open. He's going to put him on over there and go ahead and pitch to the left-hander for Cromartie. Cromartie grounded out to second and struck out the last time up.
But in making this decision, you are walking a man who hit .218 on the year as a reserve to pitch to the man who had the best batting average of any Expo, .304. But it is left-hander against left-hander. The Expos with an opportunity in the 7th inning. Cromartie has walked and struck out. Two on, 2 out. Pops him up. Here comes Sosha. He has a play. And Valenzuela pitches out of it. So Fernando Valenzuela, just a little stumble, but no fall. The Expos a hit and leave 2 innings to go, tied at 1.
There's only one car rental company in the world, big enough and good enough to be.
Interesting little scenario. Valenzuela had already come up to home plate, stopped, walked all the way back to the dugout, and then he and Reggie Smith with a little exercise there. Perhaps good luck being wished by the veteran Smith on Valenzuela.
I think Valenzuela gave him the hand warmer that maybe Fernando carries in his back pocket. Get rid of that. You slide and that thing opens up. Give you a hot seat real fast.
Keep right on going.
Yeah. Keep it on the bench over there, not when you're on the bases.
Valenzuela, and then the top of the order, Lopes and Russell. Fernando not only has pitched a brilliant 3-hitter, he knocked in the only run for the Dodgers with a ground out. Hits that one to right field, and Jerry White there. Dodgers hitting the ball in the air. That's 5 consecutive putouts in the Montreal outfield. 4 in a row by Dawson before that fly ball. This telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Woody Fryman, the left-hander. Jeff Reardon, the right-hander. And from now on, one would expect whatever team is in the field, that team's bullpen will be busy. You want to have a pitcher ready almost on an instant notice. 8th inning, 1-1 tie. Lopes fouled out, grounded out, and safe on an error. Line drive, Spire can't get it. Lopes will hold at first base. That's the 5th hit off Burris, matching the total by the Dodgers in Game 2. But they put a man on base at a definite threat to steal. Lopes against Burris in Dodger Stadium. Did not get on base. He was 0 for 3.
Not only is Lopes a threat to steal here, Dick, certainly, but Bill Russell a good hit-and-run man. The Dodgers, a couple of ways they could go if they want to. They can try the straight steal. They can try the hit-and-run. One thing I doubt they would do, they wouldn't bunt in this situation, not with 1 out already. But that's a possibility.
Dusty Baker and Steve Garvey follow Russell. Right 2. You can see Burris, a much quicker move with that front foot, not kicking the knee up, and that quick straight stride to the plate to shorten the chances of Lopes. Front 0-2. There he goes. And Lopes steals it. Well, he shows you how quick he is. Carter's throw was just a little up, and that was enough for Lopes to squeak in safely.
And look looked like Carter took a little extra step, maybe to get his hand on the ball coming out from behind home plate. Well, a good throw. Just a foot high. That throw had been right on the bag. It would have had him, but it looked good. The difference being that maybe a half a step that Carter took coming out from behind home plate.
So Lopes in scoring position, carrying the tie-breaking run. 8th inning, 1-1 the score. And the count now 2-2. It's interesting that Lopes picked an 0-2 pitch on which to steal. That was almost the obvious. That's a pitch that Carter could have called for a pitch out, but Carter may have been guessing, well, he'll never go 0-2, thinking I might pitch out. 2-2. Hit sharply. Spire back. They got Lopes in a rundown. But no one covering second. There's the out, and at first is Russell. A big play by Spire and Lopes. The most unfortunate base running error.
Good heads-up baseball by Chris Spire. Whether he would have had a shot at first base on Bill Russell, we'll never really know. And bad base running by Davey Lopes. He just got caught out there in no man's land. That ball, he's got to make sure that ball gets by Chris Spire there. Of course, in a game of this magnitude, he wants to be aggressive. And a good execution of the rundown by Scott and Parrish. Nobody at second base, but Scott waited long enough before he gave the ball to Parrish to be able to tag Lopes.
So now 2 out and Russell at first base. And the Dodgers can't break the tie in a single. Baker, a tough out. He's 0 for 3. 3 straight ground balls. Cues that one to Cromartie. Lots of English on it. And the out is made at first. So it comes down to the final game of the year. One of the outstanding base runners in all of the game caught up in a mistake made by first-year men, and it remains tied at 1.
Campanella talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. It was Willie, Mickey.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Last of the 8th inning. Chilly Montreal. Temperature 40 degrees at the last reading and dropping. But these fans plenty warm, and they represent the entire country of Canada, rooting for their Expos. Crowd of over 30,000 waiting for the official announcement. Fernando Valenzuela of the Los Angeles Dodgers will face Chris Spire, who made that heady play at short to get Lopes off second base in the top half of the inning. Then the pitcher's spot, and Burris is in the on-deck circle, but Steve Rogers is throwing in the Montreal bullpen again. Maybe that if Spire is aboard and they can use Burris in a sacrifice situation, he'll stay in the game. If Spire makes it out, we could see Rogers in the 9th.
It's kind of a normal day for Rogers to throw anyway, Dick, and he would normally get almost prepared to go into a game, so he wouldn't be as sharp as he normally would be, but he could pitch.
Valenzuela allowing just 3 hits in 3 different innings. His last inning was his toughest. decision. Pinch hit for Ray Burris. And Burris gets a hand as he goes to the dugout. On this Montreal club will pinch hit for Burris. His work complete. What a series he had. A shutout of the Dodgers, 3-0 in Los Angeles, and a 5-hitter in that shutout. 5 hits today, allowing only 1 run. Bert Hooton and Ray Burris, both brilliant performances in their 2 outings here in the playoffs. Wallach, College Player of the Year a couple seasons ago when he led California State Fullerton to the College World Series Championship. Got a little more power than those 4 home runs would indicate. But he sends a little soft comebacker to Valenzuela, and there's 2 away. Valenzuela now will face Tim Raines. Another confrontation between the 2 men that figure between them to haul away the National League Rookie of the Year award. Valenzuela for his outstanding pitching, leading the majors in shutouts and strikeouts. Raines, the top base stealer in the big leagues with 71 and hitting .304. The bag, respecting Raines' ability to bunt. But it's a fly ball to the outfield. Shallow lopes out. In comes Guerrero calling, and the inning is over. So Valenzuela continues to mow down the Expos in 8 innings. 5 times he's retired them 1, 2, 3, and the Dodgers come up in the 9th with the middle of the order in a game tied at 1. Rogers, who has been dazzling beyond those season marks in the playoffs, 12-8 during the regular year, 3.41 ERA, but 3 big playoff wins here in the postseason. He beat Steve Carlton twice and thus eliminated the Philadelphia Phillies, and he won here on Friday night. Because of the rain, he's had an extra day to rest. He volunteered. He said he thinks he could give Tim Fanning 2 or 3 solid innings. And so for the first time this year, Rogers comes in out of the bullpen. It's his game, 9th inning, tied at 1. Fans let him know that they're behind Rogers, starting to chant, Steve, Steve, Steve. Garvey, a clutch hitter, 0 for 3 today against Burris. Scott has it. Oh, Garvey didn't wait. He went after Rogers' first delivery. Ron Cey walked, fouled out, and flied out.
Dick Rogers in pitching Friday night. Pitched all 9 innings. It was 7 hits and 1 run. He struck out 5. The most important figure to look at are the 136 pitches that he made. Just 2.5 days later,
checking the book, this is only the 3rd time in his entire major league career he's pitched in relief. How difficult is it for a man to make that adjustment? He's a starter. There's a routine with starting. He has no real experience. 4 years ago he appeared in 1 game in relief, and 7 years ago again on deck. Chris Beyer, with a whistle, got the attention of the infield and Rogers and said, hey, he may be swinging. Be alert. He took 3-1. Hit to left field, but is it deep enough? Raines has room.
The same kind of actions that Carlton Fisk had in that great World Series between Cincinnati and Boston. But warning track power, Raines had it easily right on the warning track.
Just a couple meters shy. 2 out. Monday, he has scored the Dodgers run, leading off with a single in the 5th inning, moved to third on Guerrero's single, and scored on Valenzuela's ground out. Suddenly becoming much darker. Excellent swings these last 2 games. Valenzuela through 8 innings, allowing just 1 run and only 3 hits. It's an interesting time for a major league professional team. It's not like a college team where you'd have everyone up on the dugout and yelling and cheering and trying to distract the pitcher and root for your hitter. Everyone within themselves, their own thoughts. 1-1. No one throwing in the Montreal bullpen. It's Rogers' game, and he falls to 2-1.
Trying to get Rick to hit the breaking ball. Mundy a good low and in, up, out over the plate fastball hitter. You see the scoreboard here in Olympic Stadium, both in English and French. Rogers has fallen behind here, 2 balls and 1 strike.
3-1. Saw Monday point at the ball after it landed in the dirt, and it's thrown out of play. 3-1. The outfield is deep toward right. Rodney Scott, the second baseman, way out beyond the line, as you can see, trying to cut off the hole between first and second.
Not only the third baseman and the first baseman not giving up the W. See Pedro Guerrero on deck, 3-1 the count, but the outfielders playing deep enough. Ray White in right field do not want to have a double here.
Hit to center and hit well. Dawson back, and Monday will touch them all. The Dodgers pour out of the dugout here. 2-1 as Rogers in relief, taken deep by Rick Monday. It's his day of the week. And with all the many big hits he has in his long career, this one's so very special. Now we look ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, and Valenzuela, 3 outs away from pitching his team into the World Series, will face Rodney Scott, Andre Dawson, and Gary Carter. Jim has lectured us throughout these last 10 games about staying ahead of the hitters and the problems with pitching good men 2-0 and 3-1. Rogers had to come in with something special, 3 balls and a strike, and Monday cleared the wall with it.
3 balls and a strike, and he challenged him with a right-hand hitter on deck, too, Dick. But the key, of course, is getting behind him.
Guerrero strikes out. But one big swing by the Dodgers' Rick Monday places Los Angeles within 3 outs of another date with the New York Yankees. And here it is again. Two to one to the bottom of the 9th.
There's a place where they have their own authorized mechanics, quality parts and service, and prices you can afford. Now there's KK.
And this explains the expression, the sorrow and the joy all in one package. You bet. 2-1 Dodgers, 9th inning. Scott trying to bunt his way on unsuccessfully as Garvey cut him off at the pass. 1 out.
Scott trying to get on for Dawson and Carter. Very difficult play on the AstroTurf. That ball got down to Garvey very quickly. And the Dodgers are but 2 outs away from going to Yankee Stadium.
Andre Dawson, when in a hitting groove, would be a feared hitter and would have the crowd on its feet at this point. But Andre, his rhythm seemingly off. And he too thinking about a bunt with Say deep at third. Strike. The sensational Fernando Valenzuela. He started the year with 8 brilliant wins, the talk of baseball, and now trying to close the regular season with a win. Is now just 1 out away as Dawson flies to right. Guerrero now playing right field with Landreau in center. Star in the Dodger dugout. first walk from Valenzuela with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning. Parrish, the scheduled hitter, has hit the ball hard twice. The last 2 times up off Valenzuela. Grounded sharply to say, and it was Parrish who doubled into the left field corner his last at bat.
You couldn't make it more dramatic, Dick. 3-2 pitch to Carter, a guy that can take you out of the ballpark. Lasorda comes out to the mound and pats Valenzuela, gives him some encouragement. Larry Parrish coming to home plate. Another hitter that can take you out of the ballpark, and he can take you out of the ballpark to right field. He has good power to the opposite field.
Jim Fanning playing one of his cards will put more speed at first base. Jerry Manuel running for Carter. Valenzuela. The Dodgers lead it 2-1. We'll be right back. Welch with a tying run behind him. Pinch runner Jerry Manuel with the winning run at first base, Larry Parrish. Welch from Detroit, Michigan, 24 years of age, #1 selection of the Dodgers 4 years ago in the June draft out of Eastern Michigan University. He has fought and won a personal battle. He spent 36 days at an alcoholic treatment center in 1980, recognizing the problem and resolving it. A man with considerable personal courage, cast into a role in the 9th inning with a chance to help his team win the pennant or lose. He faces switch hitting Jerry White. By bringing in the right-handed pitcher Welch, you turn White around to his less powerful side. And Valenzuela, those numbers speak for themselves. A brilliant game today. And just one pitch away from winning it himself. White, a 218 average on the year. And the Dodgers are National League champions. Won it 2-1, and in this dramatic 5th game, earned the right to play the Yankees in the 1981 World Series. And part of the story, the crowd itself, they're chanting Expos, Expos. A man who pitched his minor league career here in this city of Montreal, was a minor league star, Lasorda, has seen his club win it in 5 against Houston after being down 2-0 and down 2-1, winning the last 2 in Montreal to go to New York. Rick Monday receiving the hugs of congratulations, and Lopes coming over congratulating the Expos on their fine play. And we're going to go down to the winners' locker room in just a moment. The Dodgers win 2-1.
You've got a ticket on the heartburn.
An 8th inning home run by veteran Rick Monday wins it for the Dodgers 2-1 in this dramatic 5th game of the 1981 National League Championship Series. Let's go down to the Dodgers locker room, and here's Byron Day.
Okay. Dick Enberg, thank you very much. We're standing here with Rick Monday, the hero of the ballgame, the hitting hero, certainly, of the ballgame. Rick, my goodness, single, you brought the first run in for the Dodgers. You almost put it out the 7th, then you rode it all the way out top of the 9th. How does it feel, buddy?
It felt a little bit better. You know what's surprising about it is, I was kidding you before the ballgame. It looks like you might not have 4 hours to fill. The first ball that I hit off Burris, it went foul. I was trying body English, but it didn't work. Surprisingly enough, the ball I hit off Rogers, as soon as I hit the ball, I did not see it until it went over the fence.
Boy, is that cold.
It also burns, but it feels good.
That's right. What did you hit off of Steve Rogers?
It was a fastball, and actually I was a little bit surprised in that situation. Although Steve throws the ball exceptionally well, to get a ball in the strike zone, a 3-1 count. But he's had a great deal of success, not only against other Major League ball players, but certainly against me in the past. And sorry I'm spitting all over you.
Let me ask you this. There was some talk, you said that you might want to hang it up after this year. You had a super season. And what a way to get into the World Series. What do you think now?
Well, as you and I were talking earlier, it's a pleasantly difficult situation.
And I think today just made it that much more difficult. We'll have to wait till after the World Series is over. Very thankfully, we are there. And it was not an easy road. We don't know how to do things easily.
Well, listen, very quickly. Now, you're going to be facing the Yankees have announced their rotation. First 2 ball games, Guidry and John. Do you have any thoughts about that?
The only thing is we're going to be there. I know that. Okay. This particular point.
Thank you, Rick, very much. Okay, Rick Monday here in the Dodger in the Dodger clubhouse. Here he comes. Steve Garvey is with me now. Steven, what a win, huh?
Oh, it was great. It really was. And I think some of the ghosts of the Brooklyn days came back to help us. Just a tremendous team effort today. We had key people throughout the series. Great pitching today. Of course, Rick's big home run. We thank God he was with us today. We gave a lot of credit to Montreal. A great series. And, of course, now it's on to the World Series. It's a classic, the Yankees-Dodgers.
Listen, the 11th time that you're going to be facing the Yankees. I was just talking to Rick. They've announced their starting rotation. The first 2 pitchers you'll be facing will be Guidry and John. Do you have any thoughts about those 2 guys?
No, as long as they throw strikes. They're 2 quality pitchers. Tommy John's a good friend. So is Ron. We're just going to go up there swinging like we did in the series.
Steve, there's been a lot of talk, of course. There were some personal problems you had off-season, but you've had a super year. How did you come to have such a good year? Was it tough? Was it difficult on you on the field?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, Mike, get the same effort day in and day out. I've surrounded myself with great people. I've got a great family and great fans throughout the country. Again, the key is just going out and giving everything you have, and that's what I try to do.
Steve, you certainly have given it everything. And now the Dodgers will be in the World Series as the National League representatives. We'll be back in a moment. Let's go upstairs now to Dick.
And we'll have more interviews. We'll hopefully have some of the Expos and more of the Dodgers. NBC's National League Championship Series has been brought to you by Light Beer. Everything you always wanted in a beer and less. By Ford and your Ford dealer, who invite you to test drive the 1982 Ford Cars and Trucks. By Kentucky Fried Chicken. We do chicken right. And by the new Polaroid Sun cameras. You've never been so sure of an instant picture. Back with more from Montreal. The Dodgers are National League champions after we pause for these words from your local station. Dodgers of Tom Lasorda coming from behind to beat Houston and now to defeat Montreal in the 5th game. 2-1. Now let's go back to the clubhouse in Byron Day.
Dick, speaking of the man, we have him here with us now, Tom Lasorda, the skipper of the Dodgers. Tommy, the 11th time you guys are going up against the Yankees. Do you have any thoughts about that?
We want to get them. We're very, very thankful to be here. I want to thank God and all of my players and the entire Dodger organization. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. We came from behind 2-0 with Houston, and we win 3. We came from behind here 2-1. We beat these guys. They were a tough ball club. That's a credit to the entire Expo organization. We beat a battling ball club. But I want to thank my wife, God, everybody, the fruits of victory, and it's now to the Fall Classic. We can't wait till we get to New York.
Tommy, let me ask you this. What was the key you guys were shooting for to try to beat Montreal in this last game?
Well, the best thing we want to do was get out in front of them because we knew Fernando with 4 days rest was going to be very, very effective. And he pitched a super ball game. And if we would have said in July, you have the 5th game of the playoffs to get you in the World Series, who would you want pitching? We couldn't have asked God for anything better than Fernando.
Okay. Tommy, while you get a cold shower here from Pete Guerrero. Listen, Tommy, what about your pitching rotation? The Yankees have already set theirs up. They're going to go Guidry and John against you the first couple of games.
Jerry Rice is going to pitch tomorrow. From there, I don't know yet.
Okay, one final question. Yeah. How about a revenge motive now going up against the Yanks, huh?
I don't know about that. I don't know about anything about advantage. I don't know anything about momentum. I don't know anything about that. Only thing I can't wait till we get to the Big A because we are really looking forward to playing a great Yankee club.
Tommy, congratulations. Best of luck in the World Series. We'll see you. Peter O'Malley, please. The president of the Dodgers, Mr. Peter O'Malley. How do you feel right now?
Very excited. We really have a lot to be thankful for. I'm proud of everybody. I'm happy for the team, their wives, their families, the whole organization. We've worked hard for it, and we'll enjoy it. We should congratulate the Montreal Expos for doing a super job. They've got a great organization. It's a short series. A lot of things can happen, but we're very happy, and we're on our way to New York.
Let's talk about the Montreal organization. You said yourself they are a great organization. They're really coming on strong.
They're coming on strong, and they're a class organization. Everything they do is first class, and we admire that. We respect that, and they'll be heard from in the future. They're on their way.
What about the Yankee-Dodger World Series? It's a classic matchup again. We've said it before, but the 11th time. that you folks have squared off.
We've looked forward to that. We have not won the World Series in a long time. I think we want to win it badly this time, and we're going to do our best to beat the Yankees this year.
Okay, Peter O'Malley, thank you very much. Congratulations again. Let's go back upstairs now to Dick Enberg. Dick?
And so a most unusual year comes to a close this baseball season, one that many would just as soon forget because of the mid-year strike that turned many baseball fans away from this great sport. Many of them did come back, but there was no question in attendance and television, radio ratings that many folks were unhappy with baseball. And from management and players' point of view, baseball, all of it lost. But then it has gathered itself together in this unique season, and there were some highlights that we can reflect on for many years to come, as so many of us baseball fans like to deal in trivia. It was a year in which a youngster from Mexico, 20-year-old Fernando Valenzuela, turned the game on its ear, winning his first 8 games and went on to lead the majors in strikeouts and shutouts, and certainly punctuated the great year with a victory today, Fernando Valenzuela. It was a year after the strike that one of the game's favorite people, Pete Rose, passed another great person and great athlete, Stan Musial, and became the all-time hit leader in National League Baseball history. And late in the season, the dramatics, that very special moment when a pitcher is so overpowering, he pitches a no-hit, no-run game, and Nolan Ryan did it for an unprecedented 5th time. Yes, there were some unusual events in an unusual year, and yet somehow it all boils down to the same in some way. You talk baseball, you say Yankees and Dodgers, and they go at it again. Yankees have won 8 of them, and the Dodgers 2, and they'll try it again tomorrow night at Yankee Stadium. For Tom Seaver, Byron Day, Dick Enberg, thank you for being with us. Goodbye from Montreal. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Ohlmeyer. Coordinating producer of baseball, Michael Weissman. Telecast of today's divisional playoff, produced by George Finkel. Directed by John Gonzalez. Our technical director, Lenny Stucker. Associate director, John Libretto. Associate producer, David Neal. Next Sunday, NFL football on NBC. Check your local listings for the game in your area. And those names also important. What a great job the entire crew did throughout this entire playoff series. And now stay tuned on NBC for our regular programming throughout the country. The Los Angeles Dodgers are National League champions. Steve Rogers in relief, the loser, Rick Monday's home run in the 8th inning, and the Dodgers go to New York. The pennant